YouTube. Hang on, everyone. I'm trying to get the chat, and then we'll go ahead and talk about this abomination. Why is the chat not wanting to cooperate? I don't want to pop out the dashboard. I want to pop out the chat. I don't know why is it. Alright, we're just going to go back. My apologies, everyone. If you're sending something in chat right now, I cannot read it. Let's try this. What the hell is going on with this? Why is the chat not working? Let me open this up on my phone here real quick. Alright. I guess until this shows up, yeah, until the chat shows up, I guess we'll have to wait for chat to show up on the stream here, because I got nothing right now. Let me try. Let me do this. Let me try this. This might work. Open this like a new tab. Ah, there we go. Chat is up. Where is this? Welcome, Tex Edwards. You are now the first chatter with this. Whatever this new feature is on. I've seen this on YouTube Live. I don't know exactly what this is and when they added it, but it's cool. It's like it gives you like XP for chatting and being active. I think it's kind of cool. I guess it encourages people to chat, which is nice. Let me go ahead and create a community post here. Video. Yeah, something new I'm going to try this year. I'm going to try this. What in the world is going on here? Why can I not see the whole chat? Okay. Ahaha, there we go. Cool, I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm gonna wait for a couple people if they are interested to hop in here, but I am very distraught with that game, man. That stinks. That is awful. I can't go one game without like why does every loss have to be every meaningful game has to be a loss that's like heartbreaking? Why can't it just be I can't even right now. Bye-bye, Caleb. Will suck. He ain't... I'm sorry. Anyone who says that, you know it ain't happening. You know it ain't happening. You know it ain't happening. Don't gaslight yourself. It ain't happening. They're not going to pull him. They're not going to pull him. I'll tell you that right now. The team invested way too much draft capital and a big-time trade to sit him. And not just sit him for a guy who's in his third or fourth year as a backup, who has started 4 career games. They will not do it. If anyone starts in place of Caleb Williams, if he gets benched, right now, it's Case Keenum. And that's even worse. I think Bajan's a better quarterback. But they're not going to do it. If they had a situation like Carolina last year, where Bryce Young sat, and then Andy Dalton just held the ship down while they lost a couple more games, they'd probably do it. But they don't have that guy as their backup right now. I don't think they do it. I don't think they do it. So I'm going to stop all of you right there, right now. I've seen so many people. This offseason has been a massive, massive headache. I mean it. It has been a total headache with these takes about who should be the quarterback. This shouldn't be hard. People, the fans, some of the fans may want him benched. It's not going to happen. Like, I mean, I don't know. It isn't going to happen. Sorry, forgive me for a second here while I get all this sorted out. Sure, we'll do this. I'm trying to get something. This is really impromptu right now. I did not necessarily prepare for doing one of these today. In the sense that I'm trying to get something ready here. I gotta get a thumbnail ready. So, you have to give me a second. Because YouTube asked for a thumbnail on the YouTube, on the live streams. Yeah. So I gotta take care of that real quick here. No, you're free to feel that way. You're free to feel like they should start Bajan. You're free to do it. It's your opinion. You have an opinion. You're free to have an opinion. I just know this league a little, like, not necessarily I don't know this league, and I'm not gonna parade around and say that I do. But the team invested the team invested too much draft capital and too much money into him for them to bench him right now. He had a great first drive. He had a great first drive and let one incompletion on 4th down derail his entire night. One incompletion derail his entire. He was never the same after he broke the completion streak. He was feeling himself. He was confident. He was poised. He broke away from sacks. He ran it in for a touchdown. Like, he let one 4th down incompletion derail his entire night. And he couldn't get back in a rhythm. And that's the thing with playing Brian Flores. Kind of. That's really what it is. That's the thing when you play Brian Flores. He is not going to let his team... He's not going to back down, dude. He is going to blitz, 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 blitz. And frankly, they did a good job protecting the blitz. I'm going to be honest. Hang on. No, hang on. Sorry, I'm trying to figure something out here. Oh. That's what I'm looking for. I'll go transparent for now. I have to update it. I have to update it. Get this back to where it was before. Cool. Cool. That's good. Alright, done. Jeez. That took forever. Bears O-line did amazing. I know, that's the thing. That's the hard part with all this. And that's what makes me so frustrated, is that I know there are a lot of people in Chicago who have the patience level of 0. Like, they have no patience level right now with the team. And it is entirely fair to expect greatness. It is entirely fair to expect greatness. The thing is, like, I'd say it takes time, but a lot of people don't want to wait. No one wants to wait. Dude, Alright, now that I've got absolutely everything so much, I've got everything set up now. How long have we been going? How long have we been live? We've been live for probably about 15 minutes, honestly. That's probably where we're at this point. Yeah, we've been alive for about 12 minutes, so 10 minutes in here, we're finally able. I'm finally ready to talk about this. All right, let's talk about it, guys. This is something new I'm going to try this year. I feel like it's fair, and it would be nice to do like more of a traditional like post-game show, if you will. I don't know what else to like call it. And then also do my like traditional reaction video on top of it. I want to try and switch it up a little bit this year, and grow the content so it doesn't get stale, or it's the same thing over and over again. So yeah, we're gonna do this year. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, right now I'm not happy that I'm having to do this. But you know, it's whatever, man. All right. Let's see. I haven't checked it. I don't want to basically make this like let's watch Twitter, see what Twitter has to say, but I need to take a look at this. This is, yeah, I'm seeing things that I'm very much agreeing with. This is, yeah, this is bad. This was a tough loss, man. Missed 4th down. Missed Santos' kick. The Santos' kick miss is brutal. He didn't nail the first one. That's not great because, and frankly, it changes the entire scenario of the way the end of the game's played. So I can't really just single-handedly blame him because if he hits that kick, the entire end game scenario is totally different. It's not like they would have immediately tied the game, you know, with that touchdown to Odunze. So it's like I can't really say much about that. But I hate being a fan of this team sometimes, man. I really do. I really do. I really hate this team. I really, really do hate this team sometimes. That game is what happens for losing organizations. I'm going to tell you that much right now. And there are a lot of people who are probably going to panic. I've seen some... I'm reading a couple things. I'm reading this tweet right now. Ben Johnson is the next Tressman. If any of you start saying that, you are a moron. It's one game. It is one game. Yeah, it's a bad game. But it is, at the end of the day, it is one game. Which is what I would also be saying if the Bears absolutely crush the Vikings. It's one game. Your legacy is not written in one game. It is not. There are some positives to take away. And call it cope. Call it cope all you want. But, like, I don't know what to do at this point. When you have been a fan of a team that has underachieved year in, year out for the last 5 years, waiting for the team to take that next step, and they just never have, at this point, all you can do is just cope and take, and all you can do is cope and try to find some sort of positives. Oh, I forgot about this. Oh, I forgot about this. My poor brother. He had class tonight. He didn't want to watch it live and didn't want to, jump in halfway through. He waited until right now to just start the game. R.I.P. He is in for a long night. I feel so bad for him. And see, here's the problem. That's the end of that point. Here's the problem. The Bears were the better team for 2.5 quarters. They were the better team for 2.5 quarters. Yeah, by the way, Junior, that's why he wasn't in the group chat. I don't know, man. Yeah, he did. No, I feel so bad for him. I hate watching stuff like this, especially the Bears late, because I fortunately didn't really have my eyes glued to Twitter that much today. But yeah. Other than that, man. And here, before we really get into the game, let's get this out of the way. Before we start talking about nitty-gritty, the Bears had 3 of their top 5 defenders out today and played very well for 3 quarters. It took to the 4th quarter for the Vikings to really wake up and realize they're playing a lot of Bears backups and then burn them. That's kind of the bottom line. The Bears had a lot of backups in. And frankly, the backups were the ones making big plays in this game. I'm going to be honest. It wasn't the guys that had been there for a while. We didn't see a lot from Jaquan Brisker coming off an injury. Byard was there and around. Edmonds had a couple moments, but he was kind of just making some tackles. He wasn't really breaking the bank. Montez Sweat didn't record a sack. Dayo Odengbo, despite a roughing the passer penalty, or no, it was a hands to the face penalty, despite it, played pretty well. I was very impressed with how much pressure he was able to get on J.J. McCarthy in this game. But when your defense is that dominant for a half of football, and you only lead by 10, or only lead 10-6, only by 4 points, that's not how you're going to win football games here. It's not how it's going to happen. It's not how you're going to get it done. That's not the recipe for success. And despite Ben Johnson probably calling not a bad game, it was a pretty good game. There was a lot of executional problems. I think there are some kinks still left and some problems left from the 2024 roster that they still got to work out. And because it's one game, I'm not writing off the season now. And that's exactly why, personally, I'm of the belief that we shouldn't be calling for Caleb Williams' head after 1 week. Like, it's going to take some time. And I know Bears fans and this Bears fan base is tired of waiting and is tired of having patience. Patience is not a word that it goes well with Bears fans. I know this. I've seen the reception. A lot of people were throwing fits to the fact that Caleb Williams was the way that it was last year. On that first drive, he looked much more in command. He looked much more composed. And overall tonight, he really kind of did. I thought he looked a little bit more composed tonight. I really did. He let one throw get away from him. And then for the next 2 quarters, he couldn't find his rhythm again. And I think that it's really weird because it feels like a blur, but they just couldn't get anything going. He had a little bit of zip on some throws, but he couldn't compose himself. But and they rushed down the field in the final 3 minutes. Like, dude, that was a great catch, an outstanding catch by Cole Kmet on that first play. And I think it was going to take something like that for them to have a shot. The play right after, I think that was his worst throw of the night. Right after. DJ Moore is wide open. It is a touchdown. And he can't hit him. I did see that there was a linebacker who was putting his hand up. So he had to get it over his head, but he put way too much air on it. And he airmailed it. Again. It's weird. Because we've gotten the inverse of what Justin Fields had. Justin Fields could air it out down the sideline. He had a couple real beautiful throws each year down the sideline for like 40 yards. But he couldn't throw across the middle to save his life. Caleb Williams can work the middle of the field pretty well. Can't throw along the sideline deep on a corner like that. He really can't. Well, here's the thing with DeAndre Swift. Roschon Johnson was out. This is another thing that I'm going to talk about. Bears had 7 inactives. They're already hurt, and we're in week 1. 3 of our top 5 defensive players are out. Roschon Johnson, our third down back and our short yardage back, is out. And clearly, Ben Johnson is not confident enough in Kyle Monungai to take any carries, so he handed it off to DJ Moore 3 times. And so DeAndre Swift has to carry the load. And I think that is the thing with Ben Johnson here. Ben Johnson, want to tell me why? I'll give you my numbers so you can call me and tell. I mean, that's why. That's my hunch on why. That is my hunch. That is why, in my opinion, at least, and what I've heard, and for what I'm seeing. Let's take a look at the box score. Let's just take a look at the box score, and let's just start talking about it. I got it pulled up. It's right here. First off, Caleb Williams threw 35 times, 210 yards, touchdown. He was sacked twice. And both those sacks came late in the game. He went a long time with all that Brian Flores throws at him. He went a long time without getting sacked. And frankly, other Bears fan friends just wanted me there to. Oh yeah, I bet. It's bad because. And here's the thing. I'm mad, of course. But I'm not in this full-scale meltdown like I would have been, say, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago. Like I did after they lost at Lambeau Field and blew a 17-point lead in the fourth quarter. to open the season. I was so nervous going into today's game. So nervous. And this is exactly why. Because despite everything that went well, that's it. That's it. I've grown too used to the pain to the point where it's like everything that happened in this offseason, the coaching hire and all the subsequent coaching hires that happened because of the head coach. We're talking about player additions. There are a lot of good things there. Offensive line talent. Getting a couple nice receivers. Draft wasn't too bad. And then through training camp, we've got a couple of things about Caleb Williams that comes out, and I'm not going to talk about them because those are both hit pieces, I feel like. The first one, not as much. The one with all the pre-draft stuff, all that wonderful, that was about a month ago. I don't think that was necessarily all like a hit piece. This last thing from Tyler Dunn, absolutely a hit piece. Absolutely trying to get the most attention he can, which is, I think he had this article written and pretty much ready to go for at least a month. He's probably been working on it and has probably had most of the information and all the like the interviews and all that wonderful stuff done for about a month. He probably wrote it all in the last 3 weeks. Probably had it done a week and a half ago and was like, I'm gonna wait. We're gonna get into the NFL season. I'm gonna wait until that Friday, that Saturday. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna milk this thing. I'm gonna schedule this to go out at the best possible time to ooze as much money and juice I can because, if you want to read that whole thing, you gotta pay. You gotta pay to read that whole thing. I'm not reading it. I'm not giving him my attention. I'm not doing it. He doesn't deserve my attention for that hit piece. And how I know it's a hit piece is because he did the exact same thing, 6 years ago, before the 2019 season to Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. He wrote a hit piece for a Green Bay Packer, and now he's doing it for a Chicago Bear. So I'm going to ignore it. I think that there is a lot of embellishing in there, I would assume, from some of the things that have been said. He even, is insinuating some terms. Actually, let me go ahead and pull up my likes here. Let me go pull it up here, actually. I don't know how long I gotta go. I don't know. Let's see. There's a lot. All right, let's see. Dude, I might be scrolling for a while. No, but this is exactly the thing. This type of language is really the thing that sells me on this being a hit piece. I'm gonna be honest. Real quick, let's see. Yeah, this is... Oh, wait, we're on Saturday. Shoot, I don't know, man. Did I even like it? Whatever it was, he used language like glitzy gazelle or something stupid like that. And sashaying to the sidelines, which, that type of language has notoriously been used to describe members of the LGBTQ+. And I genuinely think that here it is actually. There it is. Williams sashayed away right back to the huddle. He pauses, he thinks. Number 18 jerseys flew off the shelves. This glitzy gazelle was universally extolled as the charismatic, electric, dare we say, Mahomesian playmaker. And this is the type of language, and exactly, this answers no impartial journalist uses language like that. And this is coming from someone who is trying to get into the media, trying to get into sports media, trying to find their way around here, trying to get into broadcasting specifically. This is someone who's trying to find their way and navigate around this and is actively learning about good journalistic practices. This is a hit piece. This is the type of language from someone who isn't being impartial. This is someone who has a bone to pick with Caleb Williams, and this is the problem that I have with this. So, that's all I'm going to be saying about it. It's a hit piece. It's a load of bullcrap. And I think it's garbage. I think it's a load of garbage. And this, actually real quick, this is absolutely true. There is definitely a feeling of potentially, homophobic type of undertones. Because this isn't used for any normal player. This is language used to try and basically subtly call someone gay. Right? This is the whole gay thing. And that's exactly where I find the BS and the frustration in this. And that is where I feel like it's a hit piece. And Tyler Dunn is absolutely loving this because he's getting all these deals. Not all these deals. He's getting all this attention. He's talking to CHGO, which, by the way, the downfall of CHGO in the last, couple months is ridiculous. I do not trust that outlet anymore. That outlet has lost some trust in me. Has lost my trust. I really am getting sick and tired of it. I think this is my brother updating me and everything. Yeah. Oh, no. 2 down, Caleb Williams. Little man doesn't know what he has coming for him. I feel so bad for him. I feel so bad for him, man. He's got a... Man. This is that type of stuff where it's just like... But, anyways... But, yeah, no, that's what I was talking about. CHGO. Yeah, CHGO's cooked, in my opinion. I'm not trusting them with a thing anymore. And here's the problem that I'm having with a lot of Chicago media right now. They've gotten to a point of such apathy that anything less than, it's ridiculous. I understand there's a standard of excellence. And I understand the mentality that there needs to be. And I love that mentality. But this city is so quick to crucify losers. And when I say losers, they're so quick to label you a loser and a choker after 1 or 2 games. This is a city where a lot of fans are clamoring for your firing 2 games into your tenure if you lose 2 games in a row. This is a city that is incapable of trusting the process. And I say that because I've seen so many people give up on quarterbacks and give up on coaches like half a season into their tenure. It is ridiculous. And I get so frustrated with this situation specifically because it's a first overall pick. And while you might be saying, well, he's got to be amazing right out the gate. He's number 1 overall talent. This guy was hailed as a Mahomes-type talent. No. Here's the thing I say to this. Every first round quarterback is at least 2-3 years. This is the standard. This has been the standard. If you think it's bad for Caleb Williams right now, imagine if Bryce Young played this way in Chicago. He would be, if you think it's bad for Caleb Williams, imagine what it would be like for Bryce Young going into his 3rd year with the way he played in his first 2 seasons. If Carolina and the Panthers were as big of a market as Chicago. And that's the thing as well. It's a big market. It's freaking Chicago for Pete's sake. There is a lot of pressure from day one. And the pressure continues to mount when the guy taken right after you is doing what he's doing. And so now Caleb Williams has so much pressure in year 2. I mean, again, he is 23 years old. He is my age. I'm 23. I couldn't even imagine about all the things that have been said about me, all the pressure about playing in Chicago. I couldn't even handle it. So I mean, there's we've been live for a half an hour. I haven't even talked about a game because frankly, I haven't gotten a chance to really talk to you guys about how my feelings about all this stuff that's gone. Like, this offseason has felt like a chore. This offseason has felt like it has taken 3 years. Like, the amount of stuff. It is, And that's what it is. This is a good point. Why am I getting Crunchyroll? Infante. I gave Justin Fields until midway through year 3 before I gave up hope. Too early to give up on Caleb now, but this level of play won't fly if he's going to be the franchise QB. You have to accelerate that timeline with Caleb Williams given what's around him. And I agree. If he can't make things happen, he can't look competent. Like, here's the thing. I feel like there are some people I have talked to that have talked about and said, if the Bears don't make the playoffs, they got to move on from him. I don't believe that's the way to think. If they go 8-9 with the tough division that they're in, and they go maybe 3-3 in division, they have such a tough road schedule, man. They really do. If they go 3-3 in division, if Caleb Williams leads a comeback drive or two, and he's looking like they're figuring it out towards the end of the season, there's a lot of hope for next year. And I don't want to be talking about 2026 already. It's week 1. But there is so much about what happened today that if this happens in week 6, week 7, week 8, this is going to be put up or shut up time. He's not going to get too many more games like this. He's not going to get that many more excuses. And while I agree, he shouldn't have as many excuses as Justin Fields did. But I beg of you to understand that, again, Caleb Williams is on his 4th offensive coordinator in 18 starts. He's in his first game with a new head coach, new offensive coordinator, some new personnel on the offensive line, around skill positions. There is a lot of new. It is their first game together, this group. There is a lot of new, and they started out great. But whatever happened in the middle of that game, they've got to fix, and fix quickly. They really do. And I think the stage is set for the next couple weeks, because that is a very good football team that they played today. Despite the fact they're starting a rookie quarterback, at this point, J.J. McCarthy is a rookie quarterback. Despite the fact that they're starting him, that is a good football team. That is a really good football team and a very well-coached football team on top of that. Very well coached. Phenomenally coached. This game proves to me that Kevin O'Connell is a top 5 coach in the NFL. That guy is amazing. He is a hard coach to beat. And this is honestly what it boils down to, too. You have a team with a new head coach, a whole new coaching staff, plenty of new players and new faces against a team that is returning a lot of the same players. The biggest change on that Vikings roster is J.J. McCarthy. They're returning a lot of the same skill position players. The offensive line, to my knowledge, hasn't changed a lot. The defense hasn't changed a lot. They added added Javon Hargrave. But linebacking core is the same. Defensive coordinator the same. Head coach the same. Coaching staff stayed pretty same. This is a brand new head coaching staff with a young quarterback who's unproven, who's had a hell of a lot of turmoil throughout his time so far, against a organization and a coaching staff that is very stable right now, despite the way that they flamed out last year. That is a good coaching staff and a very competent and composed and unrelenting coaching staff. And again, it felt like the Vikings tired out the Bears the longer this game went on. They were able to jump on top of them early, but as the game progressed, the experience in the coaching showed big for the Vikings. The experience showed big time. Because that team was unrelenting. And we all knew Brian Flores was going to blitz a shit ton. I've tried not to do a lot of cursing on this channel. Try to keep it clean, professional, if you will, right? Like if I am on TV, if you will, right? Almost like work on my chops, right? But, if one or two slip out, one or two slip out. I'm going to put that out right there for anyone that's watching that's interested and curious on why I try to keep my channel pretty clean and pretty profanity free. Because I could throw around a lot of cursing right now. I could, but I'm trying to keep this, I guess, professional, if you will. But I'm also trying to hold myself to that standard, and the more reps I can talking, analyzing, as if I am in front of a live audience, the better. That's all I'll say about the cursing and all that wonderful stuff. If a couple slip out, I would assume in these live streams I want a couple to maybe slip out every now and then, but I don't want to hold myself to squeaky clean. But there it is. That's it. That's all I'll say. But Brian Flores does not let up, and he continues to not let up, and it wears the defense, it wears the offensive line down, and it wears this team down because he disguises. I feel this way, and I look at this game a little bit differently because and this is something for a lot of you guys to do. I watched Brett Coleman's video of Ben Johnson versus Brian Flores that came out yesterday. It is an unbelievable breakdown of why Ben Johnson was able to beat Brian Flores' defense, a defense that was so lethal last year, game in, game out. Why he was able to beat him twice last year. I think it's a phenomenal watch because even if it might be a little bit confusing, it at least helps you understand a little bit on why Brian Flores' defense works so well with the blitz, with all the blitzing and the aggression that he has. I mean, Ben Johnson's number, because his play calling sucked as bad as Matty Eberflus, let alone losing us the game. His play calling was not that bad. I'm telling you that much right now. I'm telling you right now. At least he had the guts to stretch the field at the end of the game. There were moments where I was like, I don't know about that. But I think there is something about Ben Johnson. I know he had to adjust because he knows he doesn't have the numbers that he had in Detroit. He had to change his scheme. And again, it was his first game against a very, very tough defense. I'm not willing to like anyone saying we're comparing him in one game to Eberflus is just letting like. I understand letting the emotions flow out. Get them out. You're angry. You're frustrated. They blew an 11-point lead in the fourth quarter. Something we at this point have gotten used to. Like that's the thing. We've gotten a little used to the fact that them losing this. But with the I never felt confident in this game. If you felt confident in this game, you don't know what you're watching. You didn't know what team you were watching. The Vikings defense were able to do enough and force the Bears offense into a slump to the point where they couldn't find a rhythm for long enough for Kevin O'Connell and to get J.J. McCarthy into a rhythm. And it all started breaking down when the Vikings' run offense was starting to get going a little bit and tire out the linebackers and the defensive line for the Bears. Because when the run offense was starting to work, the entire offense was able to open up. And J.J. McCarthy was starting to be able to throw down the field. He was able to start throwing and have a little bit more time, and routes were able to develop. It didn't feel like everything, like Minnesota was starting to feel the tide shift, and they were able to take advantage of it. And it is really frustrating because you could see the signs. You could see the signs going as that game progressed. J.B. McCarthy looked a little bit more composed, throws that touchdown to Jefferson, knows he can do it. They had stopped on the 2-point conversion, but they let the Vikings hang around, and by the time that their offense got comfortable, the Bears' lead was not strong enough. And this is the thing that they need to address. Penalties. You can argue there were a couple ticky-tacky calls. You can talk about the refs all you want. Doesn't take away from the fact that they still took like 12 penalties. They got to clean it up. They got to clean it up. That's, you gonna call him? You gonna call him? Yeah. He's definitely gonna listen to you. He's definitely gonna listen to you. If you have a mad rant saying how he's a terrible coach, when he's upset, he'll sit there, listen to you rant, and he'll just be like, "All right, cool. I'm on to Detroit already." I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, that is not gonna work. There were a couple play calls I did not like. I didn't like a couple screen passes. But like the design screen passes more so. Not the ones where it was like Caleb Williams dumps it off to the running back who's now free and got some space. That's different. The design screen passes. Not my thing. The thing I need to see out of Caleb Williams is progression. From here, he let one or two bad throws derail his game, and he couldn't gain any composure until Cole Kmet, he didn't find any rhythm until Cole Kmet made an outstanding catch with the game on the line. Which, I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to gather some thoughts here, but my mind's kind of spinning a little bit. I need something to talk about. Let's take a look at Twitter. Well, I mean, it's somehow, yeah. Here's a quote from Kevin Fish. Here's something from Kevin Fishbane. Bears from the presser. Can't find Ben Johnson. Yeah, I'm not surprised you can't find it. It's not going to be available. It's probably not available to the public. I'd be surprised if it was available to the public. Kevin Fishbane. Bears head coach Ben Johnson said the intent was for the kickoff to go out of the end zone after the touchdown to make it 27-24. He estimated a 3-and-out would give him about 56 seconds, but they lost the 2-minute warning and got it back with 9. And that is exactly what I knew he was going to try and do. I was watching it with a couple people. They were confused on why we were kicking and not going for an onside. That's exactly why I knew it. Because if Santos is able to kick it out of the end zone, the Vikings are forced to run a play with 2 minutes and 2 seconds left on the clock. The Bears get the scheduled 2-minute the 2-minute warning. So I've been training myself to call a 2-minute timeout for college football when I'm talking about that. 2-minute warning. So they can get the 2-minute warning. And then they have the one timeout. They get the ball back with about 56 seconds left. And it's a very realistic chance with no timeouts. It's very realistic to go down and get in position for a longer field goal. Or just a field goal in general. Like, that's very realistic. Problem is, Cairo Santos doesn't have the leg. I don't know why they didn't send Torrey Taylor out there to just boot it into the stands. I don't know why they did that. We all know that Cairo Santos doesn't have that booming leg. I don't know why they didn't send out the punter to go just boot it out of the end zone. But they don't get that. And, well, they get it back with about 9 seconds left, and that's it. Yeah. And here's the thing. Let's see. There's a couple things here. The team... Harrison Graham, I've watched the same Bears game 50 times. Preach. Preach. I have seen this game too many freaking times. Too many times have I seen this game. This exact game. Trying to look for something here. I mean, if you have any thoughts, drop them in the comments here. Drop them in the chat. Because, man. Yeah. Tonight's loss was Chicago's 4th loss in the last 4 seasons when entering the 4th quarter with a double-digit lead. I am just really disappointed and really frustrating. I'm really frustrated, man. This is a nightmare. This team is a living nightmare. Let's go through some stats. I got nothing better to do. I don't have any ideas. Caleb Williams, 21-35, 210 yards, a touchdown, and no picks. 2 sacks. J.J. McCarthy, 13-20, 143 yards, 2 touchdowns and 1 pick, 3 sacks. But here's the thing. He played better in the fourth quarter. Jordan Mason, 15 carries for 68 yards. Jordan Mason should get a ton of credit for this win for Minnesota. Jordan Mason is a huge, underrated piece as to why the Vikings won this game. He was a piece. He was, with him being able to jumpstart the running offense, it opened up the entire field. It opened up everything. Jefferson, 4 catches, 44 yards, and a touchdown. DJ Moore, 3 catches, 68 yards. Zacchaeus, 4 catches, 42. Komet, 6 catches, 37 yards, and a touchdown. Komet had just the 1 for 31, the longest pass play of the game. Loveland had 2 for 12. Swift, 3 for 12. Monungai, 1 for 11. Burden had 1 for -3. There's one thing I will say. It's blank that we lose a game like that. Yeah, It is really frustrating that we lose a game like that. 8 different pass catchers. I'll give them credit for that. They're spreading the ball around. But here's the thing on defense that I'll say is a positive. Noah Sewell, 7 solo tackles, 9 total. I was very impressed with Noah Sewell's performance tonight. To replace TJ Edwards, who has been the best linebacker for this Bears team for the last 2-3 years, he's out for the game. Noah Sewell comes in and plays a great game. He plays better than the guy they're paying way more in Tremaine Edmonds. Noah Sewell, as a backup, stepped up tonight. He made a couple of nice plays, and he nearly had a fumble, and forced a fumble and recovered a fumble. I didn't hate that challenge. You can talk about that was a challenge that lost him a timeout, blah, blah, blah. It was one of the few things in football I was like, I didn't even know the rule for this. Hawkinson made the catch. He wasn't touched. He got on his knees, and it was punched right out. He wasn't even touched. It was punched right out, but he's down. He gave himself up, it looks like. He's down by contact. I didn't hate that challenge. Noah Sewell played a great game. He should be getting some praise I know we're all upset and frustrated. I expect to see a couple of people give Noah Sewell some praise here tomorrow or on Wednesday. And I also want to shout out Nashawn Wright. Dude, again, had a great game. Dude was tasked to guard Justin Jefferson for the majority of the night. Tyreek Stevenson was covering him. They kind of shared the load. But with the Bears, without their top 2 cornerbacks doing as well as they did for the first 3 quarters, I'm impressed. Nashawn Wright had a great game. Of course, it had the pick 6. I mean, Nashawn Wright deserved, especially being on the practice squad for the Vikings last year. Everything in his career led up to that moment and grabbing that pick 6. And that was huge. That was awesome. I was very happy with that. Let's see. Tenno passing, Young got a sack. Cool. Dio Adengbo, he only got 2 tackles, but a sack, tackle for loss, 2 QB hits, and a pass defense. He was putting pressure on the court. Pressures aren't going to go on the stat sheet, but he was applying some pressure a lot. And I will appreciate that. It was not the worst start, especially with the pass rushers that the rest of the division has, with how much we paid them. It was not a bad debut. The problem is, this team was running on fumes from the start, and they played like they were playing backups in the fourth quarter. And that's where the frustrating part is. The offense knows the defense is weakened from 3 of their top 5 players being out. They should have put this game away to the point where once the Vikings offense was finally able to figure out how to beat this Bears defense and they were able to start getting it going with J.J. McCarthy, it should have been too large to come back from. And that's where the frustrating part is, because the defense absolutely did their job for 3 quarters. And that's what's so annoying about this game. They played like the better team for 2.5 to 3 quarters, but couldn't get it done in the fourth quarter. Again. And Ben Johnson is about to feel a lot of heat this week, because after what the Bears have gone through with the coaching of Matt Eberflus, what they've gone through, how all that transpired, for them to have a new regime and everything, and to have a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter and lose it, it hurts. And here's the funny thing. It's like they blew a fourth quarter lead, yeah, but it wasn't like the Vikings took it down to the wire and it was one of those things where like the odds were completely stacked against them. They were down 10 points with 5 minutes to go, and no, they took the lead with like 10 minutes to play. Like they took the lead, like it was like that. It was like the momentum switched real quick. And they took the lead real quick in the fourth. They led for, it wasn't even like they led for like 2 seconds. They led for like 10 minutes in that fourth quarter. And by the time that things, I don't know, man. I hate this team. I hate this team, man. Like, here's the thing. The Vikings have their own gripes and their own reasons to be, like, depressed historically, being the most successful team in the 4 major pro sports to not have a championship. But at the same time, at least they have some moments to rally behind. At least they're competent. Like, they're not blowing games in the regular season like this on regularity right now. They've got themselves a good head coach. They played 2 bad games last season, and it ruined a 14-win season. Do you know what I would kill to have a 14-win season? To win 14 games? And to win as many one-score games as the Vikings have in the last 3 years? I know it is absolutely, and here's the thing, it is absolutely frustrating, and they deserve to be upset about the fact that they have all those regular season wins and no playoff wins to show for it. They deserve to be pissed about that. But do you know what I would do to even just win and have a winning season right now? What I would do to win 13 games in a regular season? I don't care. Like, this year right now, like, I don't get it. Here's the thing. Like, that is where I'm like, there's the difference. It's week 1, and everyone in Chicago thinks the season's over already. Everyone has given up. I am seeing a lot of pessimism. I am seeing a lot of just, well, season's over. It's over. Everyone's calling it wraps. It's over. See you next year. See you in 2026. People are already moving on to September. What would it be? September 8th? No. What would be week 1 next year? September 6th, 2026, which is probably when week 1 next year is. People are already moving on 363 days from now. So there are a lot of people who are just, it's over, bring on 2026. And then you have people like me that are like, I have seen this game so many times in the last handful of years. I come to expect this shit. I just got here. I'm sorry. Come in peace. I apologize. Do you think Caleb Williams is still a future? See, here's the thing. I still think he can be. That first drive was awesome. He may have not had, like, the big, deep throw for a touchdown. I think that's the weird thing with this. I think a lot of people are just waiting for him to throw a 60, 70-yard touchdown bomb, and that's the moment when everyone thinks is going to change. I can guarantee you, in the next, 3 or 4 weeks, actually, no, 3 weeks, because they have to bye in 4 weeks. Oh, my God, they have the week 5 bye. If Caleb Williams starts to piece things together, and then all of a sudden, in, week 3, throws a 70-yard touchdown to Odunze or DJ Moore, where he throws it 40 yards down the field, immediately everyone's going to start flipping a switch on him. I think that is exactly what it's going to take to flip some of these people over. 40-yard touchdown pass. 40-yard air yards. 70-yard touchdown pass that he throws down the field for a bomb. Because, honestly, he played a phenomenal first drive. That first drive was great. 7 for 7. And he rushed it in for a touchdown. Lowered the shoulder. He did everything right on that first drive. That first drive was awesome. Set him up with some easy completions. Nothing too crazy. And then when he goes off script on that third down, Rome Odunze makes a phenomenal catch. And everything looks great. The thing I want to see from him right now, and I think this is something that I think we as NFL fans tend to overlook things a lot. And I think this is, and I really started to think this way when Justin Fields started to go the way that he did. I'm trying to figure out where I go first. I have 2 points here. I'm trying to figure out which way I go first. What I want to see from Caleb Williams is how he plays from behind. Because so far, he has not played super well from behind. Because there are plenty of quarterbacks that come to the NFL from college, from powerhouse college programs, where they are not trailing very much. They're in front, controlling, dictating the pace of the game all game long. Next thing you know, they get to the NFL in their first couple games. What do you know? Because the NFL is the NFL, they're not in control, and most of the time these top quarterbacks are going to bad teams. They're not in front. They're not controlling the pace of the game all the way through. They kind of look like a deer in headlights. So, and I started to feel this way with Justin Fields because he played at Ohio State. Ohio State, big program. I'm gonna turn this off so I can scoot over a little bit. I'm kind of a little bit on the edge of the seat. Big program, Ohio State, massive program. Great players come out of there all the time. But here's the thing: you think back to that. Justin Fields has amazing receivers. Emeka Egbuka had a great week 1, and I think he's going to be yet another reason to prove why Ohio State is wide receiver U. They just pump out amazing, crazy great receivers year in, year out. Justin Fields played in front for the vast majority played in control against the Big Ten in the couple years he started. He didn't have to play from behind often at all. He was chalked up to be the big dog. He was in position to go out and just dominate whoever was going to come out onto the field. He gets to the NFL. He doesn't know how to play from behind. He doesn't know how to respond. And what do you know? In almost every single game that Justin Fields plays, he plays his worst football in the fourth quarter. He blows a multi-score lead, or he blows a lead of any kind in the fourth quarter. How does he respond? Garbage every time. And that's something that I see a lot with new quarterbacks, and especially when they're young, and especially the top guys that go to bad teams and bad situations. Happens more often than not. So, who is going to be able to help? I think two things need to change. Two big things need to change in the grand scheme of things. Actually, no, three. Let me three things. Three things I would want to try that I take away from this game, and as we need to improve from Caleb Williams' perspective. One, the deep ball, obviously. This is the easiest one. The deep ball. Holy cow. I actually sunk into my chair when he overthrew DJ Moore late into that game. That was ridiculous. On the replay, I saw that there was a defender, got their hand up, knowing he was throwing it that way. I think that forced Caleb to throw it a little bit more arc and everything, but he just sailed it. I think there was a defender up there that was not going to allow him to just throw a piss missile straight. Because if he's able to do it, that's a hit for a touchdown. I think because he had to elevate it, oversailed it. But at this point, shouldn't be happening. One, work on the deep ball. Good Lord, Caleb Williams, he actually can stretch down the middle of the field. He can throw the intermediate to deep in the middle of the field sometimes. Two, how can we rally from behind? Because there are a lot of these guys that come out of college. They've never blown a multi-score lead. The team around them is so good, and too good most of the time, to pull out a win and to blow a multi-score lead in the fourth quarter or whatever, right? Unless they're playing another top program. When we are leading in the fourth quarter and we give up a score and now we're trailing, how do we respond? Can we go out there and put up points on the board? Because that has not happened very much with the Chicago Bears as of late. And three, when you get out of a rhythm, and how can you keep your composure, not let one bad throw derail your entire game? How can you, if you have a bad throw or two, how can you find a rhythm again? What do you need to do, and how can this coaching staff get that out of Caleb Williams? How can they get him back in a rhythm? Because obviously, in this game, he had one hot pass that got away from him on fourth down, and he let it ruin the rest of the night because he just did not look the same after that pass. Did not look the same. He looked completely different. So, I don't know. Those are the three things that I'm feeling. All right, you guys are going crazy. Let me take a look here. All right. Here's the thing. Caleb's a grown man. He plays with Legos, so he's a child. They say he's a learning disability. That ain't Special Olympics. Caleb's a child. Okay. All right. I'm not here for that. I'm not here for that. I'm not here for that type of disrespect. In a sense, calling him a child because... Dude, and here's the thing. Playing with Legos is not a childish thing. Since when... why are we still... What's with this? Okay, a guy likes Legos. Who can't? Who says you can't enjoy Legos at the age of 23? I'm 23, so by that mean, you saying that I can't enjoy Legos, and you say I can't enjoy buying a Lego set and taking an hour to de-stress and decompress from a tough, long week at work or whatever? You can't say I can't do that? I don't get that argument. And like, that is a bad argument in my opinion. Let Ben Johnson, like, did your GF leave you for, okay, why, Legos are sick. Exactly, Chess Lobster. Legos are cool. And I think Lego's doing a great job, really feeding into the fact that people who grew up with Legos are growing up and they still want to engage with it. Around my house, we have a ton of, like, Lego plants. So as opposed to, like, you know, housing and taking care of succulents, we can basically just make Legos that are nice, simple plants to add to the decor of the house, and they look fine, especially from a distance. We wouldn't tell. Thank you, thank you. Just, yeah. Legos are awesome. Legos are cool. I don't know why Legos are a bad thing. Legos are cool. Legos are awesome. Embrace your inner child. It's okay to be a child every now and then. Don't take life too seriously. People argue Caleb is soft, and that's very truthful. Caleb is definitely unique, which is fine, but he gets a lot of stone face and has a his face every time when he can't get it going. Cracking me up. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Look, I think he can have a lot of grit. And here's the thing. You can argue that Caleb is soft or he doesn't have the grit to go win in this league or whatever. You can argue and use very true examples to back up those claims. But in my opinion, if you're going to come to me and try and criticize Caleb Williams, calling him soft and a guy who can't be an NFL quarterback because he plays with Legos, he paints his nails. Oh, the blasphemy. Oh my gosh. Oh man, he's so soft. He's not rubbing his hands in the dirty. He doesn't have that sandpaper handshake. He's a little soft. He's painting his nails. Ooh, it scares and frightens my masculinity. Do not talk to me about calling him soft and using those as your main reasons. If you're going to call him soft, sure, find an actual in-game example, which there, frankly, are probably a few. He is, and there's a stark contrast with Caleb Williams to Justin Fields. Justin Fields is a guy who really didn't let emotion show very much. He's a very stoic guy. He'd just give you the stare when he'd lose. He'd just be like, he'd just kind of sit there and just like soak in the misery almost, right? Caleb Williams is a very animated character. He's very, very animated. He is, and that is for the good and for the bad. Like, like when times were tough last year, if he threw a touchdown pass at all, he was celebrating. He was having a great time. He was like, he's pumping his fists. He's giving them all the great stuff. Like, he was all for it. But also at the same time, he was very, very pissed. A lot. He was very animated. He was not afraid to show it. Oh, man. I'm sweating now. My room's probably pretty hot. That's probably what it is. I don't know. Has the fan been loud enough? Has the fan been loud? Because I've been... What about now? Because, I mean, I'm turning it on. I'm turning it, like, on. He lets his failures get the best of him, even during the game. McCarthy, tough. Kid was locked. Yeah, no, that's fair. See, that's a fair criticism. That is a fair criticism. He let his failures get the best of him. And you are absolutely right. He let one pass that got away from him ruin his night. And let's take a look at the play-by-play. Actually, this is a great point. Let's take a look at the play-by-play. Let's take a look at the drives. Okay. Mute the ads. Oh, jeez. Oh, man, I'm hot. All right, here we go. All right, here's the first. All right. Punt. All right, they punt it on their second drive. Turn it over on downs. Basically, at this point, I think everything is going great. Passing complete short middle to DJ Moore. Next drive. Punt, 3 and out. Incompletion, 2-yard run, punt. The inverse of, like, the things that we kind of, like, joke about. Run up the middle, incompletion, punt. Type stuff, right? Short, incomplete to Odunze. Incomplete to Zacchaeus, which there was a holding penalty. That was a decline. 2-yard run where Caleb Williams scrambles from a sack, which he totally should have been sacked in that play. They drive down and get a field goal on the next drive. So, they're able to respond there, but it's the end of the half. So at the end of the day, 2 scoring drives, 2 punts, and a turnover on downs. Not great, but not awful. With how bad the offense looked last season, starting games to the point where they go 3 and out, and the opposing team would basically go touchdown, field goal, or touchdown, and before they can even get a first down, they're down 14-0. You kind of have to be able to take that as, like, compared to where we were at last year, that's fine. But here's the problem. Get to the second half. At the second half. Hang on. Have I gotten a message? Remember yet? No. Get to the second half. Punt, 3 and out. First down to DJ Moore, which was a nice throw. 3 and out after that. Punt. Missed the field goal. I think this is the real momentum shifter. The missed field goal. Because then you got 3 and out. Another punt with, let's see. Nice pass to Odunze. Another first down. But from this point, outside of the missed field goal, on the 4 drives, the Bears punted. 2 first downs. And that is what is the problem. Ben Johnson needs to figure out he can run the football. Detroit did it last year. Yeah, we run 3 yards of carry, which we got to run full. I think, honestly, Roschon Johnson not being there, because here's the thing. I was not very happy with the fact that just with Roschon Johnson now, who's a bit more of a power back, kind of like fits like the David Montgomery role, although he's nowhere near as good as and near as shifty as David Montgomery. He's the bruiser, right? David Montgomery in that running offense was the bruiser. Jahmyr Gibbs was the shifty guy. That's the DeAndre Swift. With no Roschon Johnson, and the fact that Ben Johnson ran it to DJ Moore 3 times out of the backfield and didn't give a handoff to Kyle Monangai shows me distrust in the running game. And that is very alarming. Shows me distrust in Kyle Monangai specifically. And I don't like that. They should have given him a couple carries. Changed it up a little bit. Because, frankly, here's a perfect example. Look at what the Vikings did. They gave it to Jones a little bit. They were kind of running a balanced attack with Jones and Mason. And then once they kept running it with Jordan Mason, he started breaking through. He started turning 2-yard runs into 6-yard runs. And next thing you know, the offense opens up, and bang, they take off. Below average performance, yeah, a little bit. The second half for sure, I would say they really should have had 13 points in the first half, which it's about an average performance in the first half, I'll be honest. But they gambled on the 4th down. But, 6 punts is not good. Yeah, I'm not feeling great. 6 punts is brutal. With 3 and outs. But at the same time, good Lord, the Vikings had 4 3 and outs. 6 3 and outs in the first 3 quarters of the game. And all of a sudden, They're able to take it down and put it in. Thing is, Detroit would be 17-0 with Goff only throwing 7 passes. Ben Johnson runs the ball. We never had that type of running game to begin with. Telling what's going to make Caleb explode is getting an elite running game. He kind of has been a little bit. I think Ben Johnson really is going to, if he can get the running game going, it's going to open up. And frankly, a great example to your point is because the Lions were able to open up the field a lot. Or no, the Vikings. Sorry. Because the Vikings were able to open up the field a lot in this second half. Once they were able to run the football down their throats and were able to kind of break a couple nice runs, it opened up the rest of the field. Didn't matter that they but it became a point where the run was something that you had to be worried about. So the pass opens up. That's the thing, right? Yeah. Ugh. I'm telling you, man. It's gonna be a long year. Saw with JJ. He started running the ball. Yep. He started getting a little more open and started running the ball. Effectively. But you see this, right? Missed field goal. Touchdown. Yeah. The Vikings, the Bears had, it's weird. The Bears had, and I think that's why this loss, I guess, doesn't feel as, it feels brutal, but it doesn't feel as, astonishingly heartbreaking as, when they blew a 21-point lead to Denver, when they blew an 11-point lead to Detroit a couple of years ago, when they lost to Cleveland with, that 10-point lead. Because the Vikings took the lead in 5 minutes in the fourth quarter. They led for 10 minutes. That's the weird part. Minnesota was so efficient, they took the lead with 10 minutes to play. Man. This was not it. This was not it at all. So here's the thing. Next week, it's Detroit. At Detroit. Ben Johnson revenge game. Detroit looked awful against Green Bay. Awful. Terrible. Garbage. You name it. It is the first game with a new coaching staff. There are a lot of people already writing off Ben Johnson. One of them gone. All right. Sorry, I lost my. Again, first game with the new coaching staff. The way that Ben Johnson talks, and I have to watch the press conference. There can be a lot said about Ben Johnson with the way he treats the press conference after this game. I gotta watch it still. I haven't gotten a chance to watch it because I was watching it somewhere else. I came home and basically set this up and started streaming. If Ben Johnson takes full accountability, talks about a lot of things where their shortcomings were and how they lost it, and talks about it in a very professional, concise way, I will trust this coaching staff to minimize, to try and fix as many mistakes as they saw in this game that led to this loss for this upcoming weekend against the Lions. There's a lot to work on. A lot. And this game proved that they have a lot of room to grow still as a group, as a team. They played a very complete football team today. A very complete team, a very good team, and a very well-coached team. Those three things will guide you to victory more often than not. Vikings are well coached. They got a great head coach. I think that Kevin O'Connell is the best head coach in the NFC North. He has led this team to 2 13-win seasons. I know he hasn't won in the playoffs, but Matt LaFleur hasn't really been a guy that has proven to be a great guy in the playoffs either. He has the 2020 win against who was it? The Rams. They lost to Tom Brady in NFC Championship game. Blew it to the Niners the following year. Had the upset win against the Cowboys, but that's it. Kevin O'Connell has taken teams with... He has maximized the talent that he gets. He has turned the Vikings from a team that loses the vast majority of one-score games they play to a team that wins one-score games that they play. Like, go back and look at their 13-14 win seasons. The amount of especially their 2022 season, the amount of one-score wins the Vikings won that year is ridiculous. Kevin O'Connell is a phenomenal head coach. That is a good football team that they played. And a team that pretty much needed a half to basically understand what type of team they were going to be. And Kevin O'Connell was able to trust in his defensive coordinator to continue to be as aggressive as he can, which he was, and buy him enough time and hold off that Bears offense for enough time so that he can get this offense to work. And that's exactly what he did. It's a well-coached team. It's a complete team. It is a talented team. Doesn't matter who's under center. And that was the reason why I was so nervous coming to this game. A lot of people will think about, like, oh, well, they have J.J. McCarthy's first start. Yeah, but he's got a very complete team around him. That's the thing. J.J. McCarthy's got a complete team around him. Doesn't really matter who's under center. They went 14-3 with Sam Darnold last year. 14-3. And won a lot of one-score games. This is a complete football team. This is a very good football team. This is a team that's going to that can be a surprise playoff team again. I wasn't super confident. Go back and watch the NFC North prediction video. I wasn't super confident taking the Vikings to win only about like 8 or 9 games. It wasn't like, I don't know if I said it then, but I wasn't exactly super confident. I was like, yeah, they got a rookie quarterback. I don't know how long it's going to take for him to like get into the NFL game. They might struggle a little bit. Like, I wasn't exactly sure how to gauge the team, but I knew they were going to be well coached. I knew that this is a game that proves to me that Kevin O'Connell is a phenomenal coach. And Ben Johnson was out-coached, and I'm not surprised because Kevin O'Connell's an experienced head coach. It's Ben Johnson's first game as a head coach. You expect the experienced guy to out-coach the non-experienced guy. It's that plain and simple. But the Bears let this slip away from them, though. I don't know, man. I don't know. It is, it's going to be a long, long week. A long, long week. My brother's watching this game post and everything. He had class. He's watching this now, like delayed. Just texted me about the Nashawn Wright pick 6. Oh, man. He has no idea what's coming. I feel so bad for him. It's all downhill after that. It was all downhill after that. That was the lifeline that the team needed. Wow. Let's see. Is there more? Oh, why is my Wi-Fi slow? Yeah. Holy cow. All right. Here let's talk about this a little bit. Matt, you're man. All right. Let's say. All right, let's see. Let's read this thread together. Takeaways. I'll add some comments here, I guess. That was rough. Entire team fell apart in the second half. Same old Bears. Absolutely. What's up, BK? Thanks for stopping by. No, I thought that was, I see the pick 6 was where I thought that the game had like shifted. That was the lifeline for the team, right? Like that was the momentum swing. It felt like maybe they were starting to get something going. That was the way to shake JJ McCarthy and then bring the offense back together and like talk about it or like it was like a momentum swing. Get the offense back into it. Get them exciting. Get them back into it. Obviously, that didn't happen. They were surviving through that game. Caleb looked a lot smoother and confident in the first half and regressed mightily in the second. Still holding on the ball and was just missing left and right throughout the night. Didn't seem that all that improved overall from Miguel outside of using his legs. He looked much better using his legs. He was able to bail from the pocket, made a nice couple moves. He was more confident running the football. Absolutely correct. Had a great first drive. He started 10 for 10. It was nice. That was about it. From there on out, it was a slow... Oh, crap. My water bottle. It was a slow decline. Running game was brutal. We all knew this going into one. Failed to improve that group, but it was evident from the beginning. Jonah Jackson was bad. Penalties and struggled at the point of attack. Needs to be better. Yeah, Jonah Jackson wasn't great. He took a penalty or two. Not very happy about that. DeAndre, I've already mentioned the running game a couple times, but I'll hark on it again real quick. The fact that DeAndre Swift got all the carries and they didn't hand it off to Kyle Monunga at all, and they ran it to DJ Moore out of the backfield a couple times, that scares me. That tells me he doesn't trust Kyle Monunga right now, and that the Roschon Johnson injury and absence was felt a lot more in the running game than it should have been. Do the Bears ever run a successful screen pass? It's where they've been trying a decade to do it and they can't figure it out. Agreed. There have been so many screen passes that they've run that just doesn't work. And frankly, the only guy you should be throwing to on a screen pass on this team, actually now they got two, it's DJ Moore and maybe Olamide Zaccheaus. But they don't ever, it doesn't ever feel like they have the right blocking scheme on a screen pass. The receivers always miss a block or something and it gets blown up. The screen passes need to get like tossed. Surprised with how little Cole Kmet and Colston Loveland were featured. I assumed tight ends would be a big part of the offense. Kmet had the big catch, but combined the two targeted just 6 times. Agreed. Agreed. Olamide Zaccheaus is clearly someone the team wants to be a part of the offense. Had the second most targets on the team. Yeah. Yeah. I knew that Olamide Zaccheaus was going to be a huge addition for receiver 3. Huge. He's shifty, speedy, slot receiver. Absolutely great signing, in my opinion. And it's clearly someone that they're trusting a lot in. Rome led the way with 9 targets. DJ Moore needs to be more involved, but there were a couple misses. Agreed. DJ Moore was missed on the near that should have been touchdown pass, and then he was the one that got the hospital ball. He was the one that ended up getting the hospital ball. I mean, I don't know, man. This thing got out of hand. Playing off DJ in the last tweet, Caleb and him really struggled to get on the same page at times last year, and it happened again. Agreed. I don't think the two of them have the best chemistry. I think that's the problem. I don't think the two of them have the best chemistry. And that's unfortunate. And if that's the case, they got to find a way to fix it. Or Rome Odunze is going to quickly become the receiver 1 on this team. On a positive note, Noah Sewell played well on defense. Absolutely. Absolutely. All over the field. He was all over the place. He was great. Dio played well. Dio had the one penalty for exactly what scenario. But no, he played a good game. And I was very proud. You know, happy with, not proud. I was very happy with the way he played. Montez Sweat makes a lot of money. Needs to have a bigger impact. Absolutely. No doubt Duvernay is going to be a special teams weapon. He's going to take at least one in the house. I have a feeling he's going to this year. It feels like a Jakeem Grant situation where not really involved in the offense, return specialist, going to take one in the house. Bears continue to drop the ball by not upgrading the kicker position. Nearly every kicker in the league has no trouble hitting 50-yarders, and Cairo struggles. I was seeing the Cairo hate come through towards the end of last year. But I'm starting to feel it a little bit. I'm starting to be a little bit, you know. Felt like Caleb was either not trusting Ben Johnson to scheme guys open or misfiring. I feel like it's a little bit of both. What was that officiating? Woof. Okay, I'm not going to comment on that. Torrey Taylor's better. His punts were all like line drives. Yeah, a little bit. Had one good punt, but that was kind of about it. Not kicking the ball after the touchdown was dumb. Yeah, they need to keep the clock stopped, but I just saw on POSTGAME, Ben Johnson actually thought Cairo was going to be able to kick it out of bounds. Right here. Yikes. Yikes. What's this throw? Is this the 4th one? Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. That's a bad throw. Let's see. I didn't feel a rhythm as I was calling it. I think Caleb and Field get down the field, Cairo kicks down. I absolutely think they could have. They were starting to move a little bit in the 2-minute drill. Say what you want about Caleb. He's actually played some of his best ball in, like, crunch time, like, late game, like, 2-minute drill scenarios. He's played pretty damn good. Here's the thing. If Cairo's able to kick it out of bounds, and they're able to basically save 40 seconds because of it, I think they could get down the field. Because, let's see, I think the kick out of the end zone takes it out to the 30. So you're probably gonna have to go, but like, I felt a lot more confident that they got the touchdown first. If they got the field goal first, they have to get the end zone. Because they got the touchdown first, that was nice. And And, yeah. They could have gotten the field goal in position. But, yeah. I don't know why he trusted Cairo to do it. I don't know if there's a rule saying that the kicker's the one that has to do the kickoff. But I would have personally sent Torrey Taylor out of there to just boom it out of the end zone by 15 yards into the stands. That's what I would have done. We've done this whole song and dance a million times before. Dude, we've been through this exact game so many times. It is unbelievable. They really have to find a way to finish football games. They can't finish. Let's take a look at this. Here we go. Here's the overthrow. I really want to take a look at the linebacker here. Right here. Whoever it is, I think that's Jonathan Gennard. Honestly, because he's going to jump up, forces Caleb to like put some air on this ball. If he's not jumping, that is a line drive to DJ Moore for a freaking touchdown. Because he's got to get it over the hands, and Caleb has just terrible at putting air on deep balls on corner routes. That's it right there. That's it right there. Defense fell apart. Caleb could have... I honestly put this more on the offense than I do the defense, because the defense was missing 3 of their 5 best players. And they played such a good job through the first 3 quarters in that game. Again, the defense fell apart because they were playing some backups. Jalen Johnson and Kyler Gordon, their 2 best corners, were out in this game. And Nashawn Wright had a pick 6. TJ Edwards was out. Noah Sewell, who was his replacement, led the team in tackles, had 7 solo tackles. The guy was all over the place. He nearly had a forced fumble. But the backups started to play like backups in the 4th quarter, and the Vikings knew that. They were going to start playing like backups, and they attacked it. Bottom line. I'm so sick and tired of losing games like this.
It's gonna have him dead.
Yeah.
I stopped in to see Paul be on training camp.
All right. Yeah, no. The Bears shouldn't have lost this game. I'm pissed that they lost this game. But I have to tell myself, it's week 1. It's week 1. It's week 1. It's going... Don't panic just yet. Don't panic just yet. First 3 quarters were awesome, but plus 20 in 1 quarter is ridiculous. Need more pressure. RBs need to prove something right now. That worries me is not. Agreed. I think it's affecting Caleb or Ben Johnson's play calling. I think the running game not getting to the point where not getting going and having the inability to get going, I think is a big problem right now. I think it's a huge reason why they're struggling, and they struggled down the stretch. And I think that is one of those things where if they're able to kind of get the running backs some attention and they're able to get them to move in a little bit, I feel pretty good about it. They can open up the rest of the offense. The first 3 quarters were awesome. Absolutely. They were awesome. Fourth quarter, just ridiculous. Every year. Fourth quarter, just you pray that they survive half the time. Ugh. It's a real shame. It's a real shame, man. It's getting to like. This is the thing. If you want to call it, it's week 1. The Bears win their number. Yeah, the Vikings went 14-3. Like it's. See, here's the thing. People wouldn't be reacting this viscerally and this frustrated. Like, they wouldn't be this frustrated if the team did not lose by blowing a multi-score lead in the fourth quarter. If they were down 1 possession at halftime, and then the Vikings, kind of kept pace, and it was kind of like they're responding and whatnot. If the Bears just lost this game and weren't like, controlling for 3 quarters, I don't think the reaction is nearly as bad. This is like a whole Bears season wrapped in one. Oh my god. This is gonna be a long week. It's gonna be a long, long week. Long week. They blew this game so bad. But it's week 1. 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 Did Minnesota break a comeback record when they had Thielen and Jefferson before? Oh, you're talking about that game they played against the Colts. Yeah, where they're down 33 at half. 33-0 at half. Oh, no. Yeah. They're down 33. And then won what was it, 39-36? No, that is a team that is built for comebacks like this. That is light work. And it's proven by the fact that they put up 2 touchdowns in 5 minutes. It wasn't even close. It was 5 minutes in the fourth quarter, and they're back in front. It's not embarrassing what happened to Baltimore. Sucks it was Monday Night Football. Yeah, exactly. If they do this on Sunday morning, it doesn't get the same type of press as it does on Monday night. You are absolutely correct. Does not get the same attention or scrutiny, if you will. I don't know, man. I'm really All right. I don't know how much I've got. If you've got any more final comments, go ahead and drop those. And let me know what you've got. Any other final words like that? Let me know. I've kind of exhausted all my thoughts right now. I might... Usually I like to do these reaction videos the night of and upload them the next morning. Like early the next morning, but I might... I could sub. See a reasonable... Thanks, man. I mean, look. A lot of people are emotional. It's the first game of the year. It's the first game of the year. It's on Monday Night Football. You're at home. You're against a division rival. It's a new coaching staff. Critical year for a lot of people. It's a very emotional game. I get it. But I have been a fan of this team for a long time, and they've beaten and broken me so much to the point where I kind of am just like, I have to temper my expectations. I always, and maybe this is why, and when I watch games in a neutral perspective, I can always see the comeback, like a possible comeback, because I can always see it, especially when the Bears have the lead. I can always see it. I'm like, there's too much time. Give them one drive, and they're back in this game. Do not let them back in this game. You're gonna lose. And that's what they did. They let them back in the game, and they lose. I've learned to basically try and especially after I bought in last year. I was like, I know it's a rookie quarterback. They got the pieces to get to the playoffs. I bought in last year. No. I'm not buying in. They're not going to fool me. They're not going to fool me again. I don't think that there's a, like, I knew it was happening, but when they gifted JJ half the field and it goes, that was against Aaron Jones, and yeah, that was, or wait, after London they looked so good last year. No, they did. Like, here's the thing. I don't know what happened during the bye week last year. Whatever they did, they got complacent. They looked unprepared when they came out of the tunnel week 8 against Washington. And, of course, we all know what happened then. Look. I don't know. There were a couple questionable calls, in my opinion. But, of course, Bears fans, we're going to look at it a little bit closer. I did not agree with the PI call late in the game against Tyreek Stevenson. I didn't really agree with that. But at some point, that was not the Washington game at all. Because, unlike the Washington game, the Bears actually looked like not awful on the first, 2 or 3 drives. I don't know. It is frustrating, annoying, irritating, exhausting to be a fan of this team and watch them pull this bullshit week after week, year after year. It is so tiresome. After the longest offseason that I have gone through. This offseason felt like it took forever because there was so much conversation. Huge new head coach signing. New players. New everything. New coaching staff. This is the year that they finally are able to put some pieces together and be able to be competitive. Not be contenders, but to be competitive in December, which is something they have not been in the last, 4 or 5 years. You mean not to call it out? Yeah, I don't know. The Beast needed a running game to play. The Beast needed a running game to play Bajan. Bajan is a leader and makes amazing plays constantly. He's mentally tough. I'm not on the Bajan train. I'm so tired of the Bajan garbage. He's not going to start. Give it up. He's not going to start. It's not happening. I don't care how bad Caleb Williams is. It's not going to happen. It ain't happening, man. And I'll tell you this right now. And I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm telling you right now. Any team that benches the starting quarterback after week 1, any team, that is a sign of, oh shit, it's going wrong. We're in a massive problem right now. And it's almost a sign of we're punting the season, in my opinion. Look at what other team in the league has any reports going on right now about a quarterback being benched. The New York Giants. That's it. The Giants are the only team who are having conversations. There are maybe rumors that Jackson Dart should start, but I think those were squashed, but they were even entertaining the idea. You cannot bench your starter after week 1. If he still stinks by week 4 when they go into the bye or something, then I entertain it. But until then, he's going to start. And that is where I'm at with that, with the Bajan stuff. And it's so hard because I absolutely love Tyson Bajan as a backup. He's such a great guy. He's composed. He you can tell he cares. You know, he got a $10 million extension, which in the grand scheme of NFL players isn't a lot of money in the NFL. It's a lot of money for him, and he is taking that money with pride. Dude, I swear there are still some Bears fans out there who are still obsessed with Justin Fields. The Justin Fields cult needs to go be Jets fans. As miserable as that is. You're going from a miserable fan base to a miserable fan base. Wow, I'm so surprised. I understand the mentality of just win the game. I understand. I get it. Justin Fields would, with that development, he would not have us 1-0. I'm telling you. No, it is not. One QB does not work for us. The Bears are really good. You win games and you use Bajan for at least a quarter. Why the infatuation for Williams? 7 points a quarter? WTF? This is a good team. Absolutely. 7 points a quarter should win you most football games in the NFL. 28 points a game should win you games. Ben Johnson was averaging 29. That's a touchdown a quarter. That's the thing. They don't need to break the bank. They don't need to average 30 points a game. The team is really good. And I believe that. That is a really good football team they played today. And I think that's also something we're in the absolute Jedediah Harper part. You're so right. Half of Bears fans are in a doomsday cult right now. They so are. Any loss and it's the end of the season. Any incompletion and it's all over. They can't move the football anymore. Oh no. We threw an incompletion. We can't move the football. It's over. Season's over. Calm down. There's a long week ahead of us. I trust in Ben Johnson to hammer in a couple of big things. Cut down on the penalties. Be cleaner. Both sides of the ball. Hopefully they get their starters back. Johnson, Gordon, and Edwards come back. Hopefully they're going to be healthy for week 2. It's like, I'm not going to panic yet. Because you know why? It's week 1. The season is not over. It's 0-1. Teams come back from an 0-1 season start to make the playoffs all the time. 0-2 is a little bit more of an alarming problem. But then again, I didn't set expectations for myself for this team to make the playoffs this year. They have a really hard schedule. They have like the second or third hardest schedule in the entire league this year. With a first-year head coach, first-year offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. Caleb Williams is on his 4th offensive coordinator. New wide receiver coach, new QB coach, new running back coach, new DB coach, new linebacker coach, new everything. Like, Minnesota is a really good team. They are a very, very well-coached program. And that is a game that shows you exactly why. I thought they played really, except for the stupid penalty. I'm really proud Caleb protected the ball. I believe we toast Detroit. They played stellar ball. They played stellar against Detroit last year. Mini matchup. Yeah. Caleb needs to refine himself, but when it's clutch time, he's played some ridiculously good passes. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but in the middle of the game, he just cannot figure it out. But when it's crunch time, for some reason in a 2-minute drill, he's just different. I don't understand it. I hate games like this. I hate games like this so much, not just because they lost, but because the entire attitude, the narrative, absolutely everything about the team, the game, is forgotten. It is all for nothing. No one can look past the fact that there's another L. And I understand. Losses are annoying. But right now, it's week 1. I don't know, man. There is a lot of the doomsday Bears fans. Just it is really annoying right now. Honestly, I'm at a point for when this team blows a lead. I'm at this point where if the team blows a lead, I genuinely think that I'm more concerned about what the Bears sphere is going to be talking about, more so than like trash talk from division rivals. I barely see that type of stuff anymore. And frankly, there's a lot of bad trash talk out there. A lot of cheap blows like, blew the lead, haha, you want, like, there really isn't like good analysis when it comes to trash talking in a way. Like, I'm more nervous at the Bears self-talk about their own team than division rivals dancing on a grave, if that makes sense. Because this fan base rips and tears this team apart more than, like, I've never seen another franchise and another team get torn to pieces after every single game. Like, they are torn to shreds. It is week 1, guys. And then the team needs growing pains. Absolutely. I don't think they win 10 games this year. That's the thing. I don't think they win 10 games. And here's the thing. And maybe this is should I say, oh, that's good. I hope this doesn't come off as someone who is just eternally patient and eternally, like, willing to just continue to sift through garbage. But if they go 8-9 this year and Caleb is the first 4,000-yard passer and they, like, have a couple, like, nice wins, I think that they'll be fine. I think as a fan base, we gotta admit that we'll always be bad. We'll get so excited every offseason. No, I will admit, Bears fans huff the hopium a lot. And I know this because I've done it before. We huff the hopium every single year. We do. I think us as fans, to limit and to prevent us from going insane in the membrane, I don't know, to prevent us from going insane and losing our minds and getting into, potential problems, we need to temper our expectations. Cautious optimism, if you say. If this was, if this team was assembled in a city like Pittsburgh, I think this team probably wins 11, 12 games this year. Because guess what? The Pittsburgh Steelers just have an aura. They have, some people call it the Steelers BS. That just bails them out and they win a couple games they probably shouldn't. Or they just magically look better than they should on paper. And then you have teams like the Browns, the Jets, with no matter what they do, it feels like there's just this losing rain cloud over the organization eternally. So, and I think the Bears, they're not quite down there with the Jets or the Browns. I think they're probably the next in line, especially over the last 10 years. Maybe then the Raiders probably a little bit. But we as fans need to temper our expectations. I know it's a number 1 overall quarterback. I know it's a highly touted coaching prospect. But remember what franchise you're talking about. Remember about it. Think about it. And whatever win total or whatever hope you have about it, take it down a little bit. Because there's always the Bears tax. Right? If I don't know, I don't have a better word than the Bears tax. There will always be the organizational factor, the logo factor, the fact that it is the Chicago Bears, right? After being a Bears fan this long, I don't know what to think until the season's over, honestly. That expects us. I was so nervous today. See, the thing is, the signs point for us to win this game. At home, rookie quarterback, but we always tend to forget about, and I don't know about if you guys do, but I always tend to forget about how important coaching is. And I knew that I loved the way that Ben Johnson played against Brian Flores last year, and I was like, Ben Johnson played so well. He should be a great matchup. That's going to be so cool. And the thing is, I'm at a point where it's we are sitting here again after another blown lead against a team that has better coaching right now, and that's hard to have better coaching than the Vikings right now, I'll be honest. So, damn, I lost my train of thought. We had a lead like that. Yeah, if we got outclassed start to finish, so be it. I'd rather no, yeah, I was so nervous today because even though there were signs that point us to winning this game, I was like, it's Chicago. What has this team done over the last 10 years to prove to me that this year is going to be different, to prove that this cycle is going to be different? Who is going to go out there and buck the trend? Yeah, if they had lost by 14 points and maybe there were a couple nice throws out there, if they had been trailing for a good portion, they had the opening drive touchdown, but Minnesota was able to kind of pull away and be up, say, 17-10 and a half, and they score, and it's 24-10, and, you go back and forth a little bit. No, sure, fine, whatever, but this one stings. Woo! All right. I stopped getting my hopium refills after they fired Lovey. Ben and Caleb give me some hope. Been a Caleb Williams fan, so he came in for OU and beat Texas. One of the best games I've ever seen. Dude, I was watching that game over the summer. Oh, I was watching film. I was watching Caleb Williams from their 21-21 game against the Texas Longhorns, which, horns down, by the way. Texas is stupid. Hate Texas. Caleb beating Texas that way. That was really the main college game I like to watch. But watching that ending, watching him go down and beat the Packers. Seeing him, mainly those two have been kind of fueling me this summer. What was Montez Sweat doing tonight? Adengbo was amazing tonight. Boyers look better than most of the league. They could very well beat Detroit, honestly. I think they could. Detroit looked so poorly. They looked so bad. But I think we will see if the week 1 game between the Lions and the Packers says more about the Lions or the Packers with how Ben Johnson played and how the Lions play this week against the Bears. I always thought we used the tight end more. Absolutely. I think that's a group. I think that's one of those things, right? I lost my train of thought. Yeah, it says a lot about Detroit if they lose next week to Chicago. That's all I'm gonna say. I could use the tight end more. Yes, use the tight ends more. Absolutely. I don't know why the tight ends aren't involved more. Done deal. Involved more. Blah blah blah. Need 3 to 5 players to do what T.J. Watt and many of the Steeler players do. They take games and just say we're winning tonight. That's fair. Yeah. Anyways. If Caleb can be the guy who was in college and Ben Johnson can be the guy who was in Detroit, it should be lethal. Absolutely. It will absolutely be lethal. But I think there's a lot of growth left. There's a lot of growth still to go. If Detroit loses to Chicago, their window's officially closed and they might be picking first. But I don't think they will. I don't know if they will. See, the thing is, if the Bears had won tonight, if the game ended at the end of the third quarter, just think about, the first 3 quarters. If Minnesota does not turn things around in the fourth quarter and the Bears win by 2 scores or whatever, right? I feel really confident going into Detroit and beating the Lions because they looked really bad. They looked really bad. They looked terrible. You can really feel the absence of not just Ben Johnson, but Aaron Glenn as well. Which I know Ben Johnson gets a lot of the talk when it comes to Detroit losing coordinators. But we got to give some credit to Aaron Glenn with the job that he did. I know that he didn't win that football game against the Steelers. He put up 32 points. Aaron Glenn did, I thought he was I thought he did fine, right? Yeah. Let's see. I don't know. There's a lot of things that they got to figure out. Yeah. If you finish out Toronto tonight, I think your favorite network next week. I think so. I think the thing is, they can't stall out as much as they did in the middle of the game. I was very happy that they started out with a touchdown drive. Or just in general, with points on the first drive. Opening drive touchdown, without having one last year on the first game. It's kind of nice. I will have The thing is, if after that moment you struggle to do much, you need to find a way to keep that momentum going. There's a lot of things to look at. We can nitpick and we can talk about this, but the sample size is one game right now. So it feels like it's totally different. NFL deals with online gambling directly funds. I have tried to not talk about officiating. I really try not to, because I think blaming stuff solely on officials is really lame, in my opinion. I think it's really lame. But I also did not agree with that pass interference call, or was it pushing? That was whatever. But the thing is, you can't put yourself in a position for them to even make that call. That's the thing I'll say. You can hate the call all you want. If you don't put yourself in a position, I'm not blaming them. The thing is, you can't give the officials an excuse to make any sort of call like that. Which is why it's like, when they had that pass interference call early in the game, it's like, yeah, it sucks, but you can't, it's the underthrown deep ball. You have to be looking back. You can't, like, you have to be looking back at the ball. You'd be trying to make a play on the ball. You can't just be standing right in front of them and then push them. That's a penalty. They had a lot of really dumb penalties tonight. A lot of false start penalties. A lot of really dumb shit. There's a lot of stupid penalties. And they had to clean that up. Really clean it up. There's a lot of looking in the mirror. There is, like, most of the calls, I was like, let me look at the replay. And I'm like, yeah, I see the call. I see why they threw it. Like it was, I think it was the Odengbo, hands to the face. I was like, that's not hands to the face. And it was the last shove where, like, his head goes back. I'm like, yeah, that's why they called it. Like, you may not agree with the call, but you gotta look at it and be like, this is why they called it. And there were a lot of penalties on Chicago tonight. There were a lot of dumb penalties too. So. No single calls why we lost the game. We're kind of at a point where, in my opinion on that type of stuff, when people solely complain about officiating, is how about we don't put ourselves in a position to let the officials decide our fate, right? Let's put ourselves in a position where they don't have to make a ticky-tacky call. It maybe is like, maybe a penalty, not a penalty. You could judgment call. Don't even give them that opportunity. Play a clean game. Don't give them an opportunity to throw a flag on a ticky-tack, whatever, right? If you can't let them if you can't let them call the penalty in the first place because you're playing clean football, it's like you're going to win football games. They took too many penalties. They're dumb. A lot of false starts. Couple of holdings. There were some drive killers too. Like, I think there were 2 holding penalties that were driving killers. Like, can't do it. The holding is just brutal. I think holding is honestly like the biggest drive killer in the league. Because it usually comes on like big plays. Like big run plays. They'll break open for 20 yards. And like, then there's the flag. It comes back. And next thing you know, instead of it 1st and 10, it's 1st and 20. And now you're backed up. Like, the 10-yard penalty thing, that makes a holding penalty a really, really brutal call. But if we're talking about KC, I know people would be agreeing with me. I don't know. Maybe the plan is to tank and get an actual running back. I don't know. Hey, I'd love Jeremiah Love. I'd love to see him. At least that's who I think the top running back prospect this year is. I think that's who it is. But the problem is, will the Bears be high enough to be able to take him? Because I don't know. It all depends on where he's projected. I think that's where it ends up being. And where the Bears end up landing in the draft space. And then if they want to try and trade up. Which they totally could do. But I don't know if they'd do it. So, Jeremiah Love would be, especially, well, I mean, this is September too. He'd be my pick. But, yeah. This game sucked. I hate this team. I hate that I have to see this all the time. I hate that we keep blowing leads, but I'm getting used to it at this point. Why not? Let's blow a 14-point lead next week. Seriously, just do it. I just... Games like this, when you open a season and you have... And there are things... Yeah, that's also part where I'm like, they're on the rookie deal. They're invested the draft capital. You can't just tank. You can't tank 2 years into an overall, number one overall picks rookie deal. Yeah, again, the rookie deal is the point. You can't really tank. That's not, or at least that's not a smart idea. It's not a smart idea. You can't tank. You can unintentionally tank and just stink, but you can't deliberately tank. And I genuinely, like, I don't know, man. Ugh. I don't know, man. I am, very... I'm so sick and tired of this. So sick and tired of this, man. I'm tired of being a laughingstock in this league. I really am. But the narratives write, the jokes and the memes and the narratives write themselves. They're not going to beat these allegations until things change. And that's the bottom line. See, here's the thing. Sixers trust the process. That's kind of where I'm feeling right now. I'm kind of in that mentality. But there is a great portion of Bears fans that do not ever want to trust the process. And if they draft, whatever happens, if they're not immediately winning to start a year, it's over for them. There are some people who are saying season's over. It's 1 week. I know they blew a lead, but they still only lost by 3 points. It was a tight game. The problem that I personally have is, for once in a while, I'd like to be on the right end of one of these types of games. I'd like to be on the right end of a one-score game. I'd like to be on the winning end of a one-score game. In a tight game. In a high-stakes game. I'd love to be in that scenario, but they just haven't had a game like that in a long time. Stick with Fields and trade down the pick up more, and take... Yeah. I don't know. Hindsight's 20/20. I'm not going to go back and, like, think, like, oh, they should have done this, this, and this. Past the past. We're here now. This is what we have now. We're stuck with it. Season not over, but our playoff dreams are... If you went... I'm going to be honest. With how last season went, if you thought... Not necessarily if you thought... Hang on. If you had the expectation to get to the playoffs this year, if that was your, like, expectation or heads should roll, that's not my type. I'm sorry, it's not happening. In my opinion, at least. It's a dream. Schedule's brutal, man. If their schedule was not nearly as hard as it is, I think it'd be actually plausible. But that's kind of the thing, right? Like, yeah. I personally think they go 8-9. 8-9 was my official prediction, and I'm already off because I already picked. I said they were going to win this game. So I don't know, man. It's man. I'm so sick of these. Dude. This sucks. This sucks. We've been on here for 2.5 hours, man. Yeah, I want to see good games in development. I want to see development. I want to see him win a couple tight games this year. If they get beat by the competition that's better than them, if they lose like their tough road games, Baltimore, Washington, Philly, Cincinnati, even it can be if we get the right Cincinnati team, that can be a really tough road game. You get the Packers on the road, Vikings are going to be a tough road game. You get the Niners, like if Caleb Williams wins a couple games and shows some promise by making some big plays down the stretch in a couple of these games, or maybe dominating teams that he should be dominating, I would feel great. If they get beat by the teams that honestly they should get beat by, and they lose the road games that are tough, and he looks good, and he looks confident, maybe he leads you to a win or two that's really impressive, we're all good. An 8-9 year I would be okay with that. This year is not a year we have to be strictly concerned with a record. Just want to see the games. Let's see. Caleb has a certain ingrained habits. And that's the problem with what happened last year. There were so many bad habits with 3 offensive coordinators. A lot of turmoil. Offensive skill position players yelling at our offensive coordinator trying to get it right. He's got to break a lot of habits. And it's going to be a process. I don't think lack of development wasn't on him last year. It's like I don't know, man. The Bears brought Bajan to start the first. No. People, I think, are really underestimating how good Tyson Bagent is. They're overestimating him. I'm really happy that Tyson Bagent is the backup that he is. Absolutely not. He did all of his work against backups and third stringers. Like, we gotta remember that. We gotta remember that. I know that he led a great comeback against the Chiefs. Those were against backups. We're kind of past the point of inspiring performances from backups that we know we're going to be able to see at some point. I don't know. Yes. Like, the thing is, I don't think it prevents anything. I really don't. The problem is if they had taken advantage of some of these things earlier in the game and they had a bigger lead by the time that McCarthy and Evan O'Connell had things figured out, like, I don't know. Like, it shouldn't have taken Tyson Bagent. Tyson Bagent would not have won that game. I don't think, and frankly, when it came to those preseason games, he wasn't playing with the ones. He doesn't have the experience playing with the ones. It's more complicated than just saying, oh, well, he had a game-winning drive against the Chiefs. Caleb looks like trash right now. putting that guy. It's much more complicated than that, and that's why I kind of have some pushback with it. If Caleb stinks going into the bye week and he still can't figure it out, sure, start Agent, fine, but not now. Yeah, like, well, it's funny because I genuinely don't know how to feel about, like, the Bears lost this game, but also the Vikings won this game. Like, it's really weird. It's one of those games where it didn't feel like, it feel like both the team gave the game away and then the team came back and won the game. Like, there was great on both sides. Like, it was, Chicago fell apart, but Minnesota played incredibly inspired, rallying behind a rookie quarterback to, I don't know. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. It's too late. This year will be a good test. Next year, Caleb will have to prove beyond any reasonable doubt he's the guy. Otherwise, we move on. No, the option is wait and see. What? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if you need to make a choice on this 5th year. Don't pay him his 3rd year, although that's what good teams find a QB. Yeah, no, it's like, the thing is, I don't know. I think this... Look, seeing Ben Johnson, this is going to be one of my last like points. I really got to, I was thinking about ending this almost like 40 minutes ago. We kind of gotten back into it a little bit. I got to kind of wrap things up here a little bit. Was not planning on going for 3 hours. Maybe planning on going for 1. You guys have been awesome adding your thoughts and keeping the discussion going about this. I'm very pleased at how you guys have been receiving this. It's been doing great. Views are great. I'm very happy. Thank you guys so much. But this from Ben Johnson shows to me something I didn't ever see with Matt Eberflus. Like, you can tell he knows it's bad. He knows it. He's self-aware about this type of stuff. And that, to me, is, I think, some sign of... I don't know. It is something, right? I know, yeah, no, the defense was up without a bunch of starters. And some of the guys that came in to replace those starters played pretty damn well. So I'm not putting it on the defense. Offense, Brian Flores did enough on defense with his defense to hold off the Bears enough for J.J. McCarthy to figure it out. So the reality is every part of the team... Yeah. Yes, absolutely. I agree. Absolutely, but, like... I don't know. It feels like the offense could have done more. The defense got tired. Couldn't clamp down. And the rushing attack for Minnesota started, like, figuring it out. And then, I don't know, man. It is very difficult. If I had to pin the blame on, I don't want to pin the blame on one thing more than the other. I think that, again, in a game like this, especially considering with the defense being out with all those starters and still playing pretty well, I tend to probably blame it more on the offense. Yeah, Sweat has struggled a lot. But, I don't know, man. Anyways, obviously, since we've been going for 3 hours and it's 11:30 local right now, I know it's like 1:30 for you guys in Chicago if you guys are out there. We need to... I gotta get out of here. Usually I record my full reactions the night of. I might try and sleep this one off and then put the normal, like, traditional reaction video out tomorrow morning or afternoon or whatever. Put it out tomorrow because, man, I don't know if I've talked about this for like 3 hours. I don't know if I can go on some more. I should I probably should sleep it off. I probably should. I try not to sleep on these and try to get these, especially night games. I try to get them done around, like, it usually ends up being done around midnight, and I put it up and have it scheduled to go out early in the next morning. But I might sleep this one off. And it could be a theme this year with the night games, because I'm going to try and do one of these every week. Because I want to foster, like, I want to grow, like, not necessarily grow the content, obviously, but I want to have a more direct communication and direct community feel with you guys. Because it feels a little different when I'm kind of just talking to a camera for 50 minutes on a Sunday after the Bears lose most of the time. And then I cut it up and post it and whatever, move on. But being able to kind of talk to you guys about it is probably going to be really helpful. Maybe a little therapeutic a little bit. We can all stew in our misery together. But yeah, no, I am very... yeah, that's kind of it with what I'm trying to do here. Bears football's back, baby. God damn it. Could you have had actually, you could have had it before. You could have had, I was about to say, could you have had a worse week one? Nope. You could have been Baltimore. You totally could have been Baltimore. Like, this was bad. Whatever Baltimore did was astronomical. Whew. That was rough. But that was so awesome to watch last night. I was glued to my television. And then I was glued to my television tonight to watch Bears football, ruin my night, or I don't know. I probably should, like... I'm at a point where I think it's just, like... Should probably just sleep it off, maybe look at the press conferences a little bit, and kind of talk more about that in the full reaction video tomorrow morning. That's probably what I'll do, but... For now, I gotta get to sleep, dude. It's gonna be hard to sleep tonight, man. I've been talking for 3 hours, and I'm still, like... replaying shit in my head. The head's still spinning. Oh my god. I want to die. Thank you guys for being such a great audience. I mean, I'm genuinely so impressed how active you all were today. Like, it is a long chat log, guys. I'm very... I mean... I'm very impressed. Thank you all for coming out. Go watch the No Miracle. I mean, let's be real. I mean, it's polar opposite. The team was down 17-0 in week 1 last season, and they won on week 1. And this time they were up by multiple scores in the fourth quarter and lost. Like, they came back for a win week 1 last year, and they blew a lead for week 1 this year. Like, what was I gonna look at? Oh, but I don't know, man. This is where we're at. Anyways, I am exhausted, tired. Want to go to sleep. I want to try and not think about this for about 5 seconds. I don't know. I honestly, I just kind of kept going. I don't know how long. I probably shouldn't be doing these long. This will probably be a once. It's not going to go for 2.5, almost 3 hours again. I could probably guarantee that. Yeah. I am very, very upset and sad. And we're all going to be that clip of Stewie from Family Guy. Turn off the light, go to sleep, and start crying. Anyways, I'm going to get out of here. Go to bed. Sleep it off. Tired. Just want to do anything but talk about this game now. Can't believe they lost it. Can't believe that it happened again. Maybe I feel less devastated because I kind of almost saw it I kind of expected it to happen. And was mentally prepared for it to happen. That's it, man. Alright. I'm going to get out of here. Good night, guys. Have a good week. Try to forget about this tomorrow. Try to think about it positively. Get ready for Detroit, man. God, they got to play at Detroit next week. Alright. I'll see you around. Good night, everyone.